Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are the Bebonkengs and your host here at Trinity Relationships. So today we'll be talking about appearance and relationships. It is true that for the choices we make, whether of persons, of things we want to buy, of everything, the way the thing looks. For example, a tomato that looks nice and one tomato that looks like all the juice has left, or it looks like it's bad, I'll go for the one that looks nicer. So appearance affects all our choices, but should appearance be the main criterion for our choice of a life partner? That's what we'll be discussing today. So personally for me, while growing up, I think a lot of novels, I was a novel kind of person. Novellas too. I was a novellas kind of person in those days until I received my salvation from novellas. So subconsciously, I had this mind of the kind of person I wanted. I wanted to marry, or the person I wanted to be in courtship with. The person had to be tall. The person ideally should be dark, but if the person is fair, it's not a big deal so long as the person is tall. The person had to have like a certain number of years by which he was older than myself. The person did not have to be my classmate. So there were some characteristics I had, but for the appearance, it was amongst those main characteristics. Like when I was making my list, I was like, the person should have a certain look. I was like, I'm first of all short, then I'll go and take a short person, then I'll just have short babies. I was like, God forbid. And they were first of all traumatizing me about my height. These people are body shaming that you are so short. So I'll be like, no, I have to marry somebody that is tall so that
he can balance.
He can balance the height in my children. So that was the mindset I had. And until God gave me salvation, that is not the container, but the content of the container. So for you, what do you think? What was your own?
For me, I think when I was growing up, I just had the main idea for me, the main character was the looks. I really did not have character. Character only came after I had a certain relationship that I started questioning looks. But for me, the main thing was how the girl looked. I needed a slim. You know what they call figure 8. That was my main thing. How the person looked, because I remember all the girls I've dated before. All of them. The main thing that pulled me to them was their looks. Everything had to come second, but how the girl appears before me was the main criteria to me. So if I'm to go back to time, you will not be my spec at all.
That was not your spec, but now am I your spec?
Sure.
Okay. Your only spec, as a matter of fact.
Is it now? I see that if you're making a choice of maybe the food to eat, the clothes to wear, you based on what you see, your looks, the appearance of what you are getting. Those are minor things. But when it comes to things like relationship, marriage, that can affect you and even affect your salvation, basing the criteria for such an important decision on what you see is very, very dangerous. It can lead you to destruction straight away. But I still see a lot of us still making key decisions by the looks or by things that our senses can perceive. Like, okay, you want to travel, where do you want to stay? Most of us easily want to travel abroad, travel where things are nicer. That's a criteria. That's the only thing, is the fact that it's nice, the fact that it's a developed world, the fact that the place is beautiful. That's our main criteria. And you see that when we start leading such a sensual, we use our senses to be able to direct us, we easily get into trouble because our senses are very, very limited. We don't see the content of actually what we are doing, especially relationships. So to me, basing your criteria, using physical appearance, your main criteria is very, very dangerous.
When we look at Abraham and Lot, when their headsmen started quarreling between themselves, and they said they had to separate and they had to choose where they wanted to dwell. So Lot saw the shiny plains of Sodom and Gomorrah,
the green, the waters,
the green grass, the waters. Like he saw that if his herd had to dwell in that place, they will grow fatter. Like
you can imagine.
He already had a kind of mind probably when he was choosing the place that looked nicer. Nice. But you see where Abraham chose. It was a desert area, but his faith was maintained. he got wealthy even in the desert land.
Yeah.
But you see Lot, who went into Sodom and Gomorrah, that looked nice, that looked pleasant. He found that it was a place filled with homosexuality, and God even had to destroy the place. He lost his wife, and he was left with his 2 daughters, who even had to commit incest with him so that their lineage can be guaranteed. But when he was making the choice, that's what he did not see.
Yes.
He did not see all those things that were coming with the package of the green grass and the sparkling waters in abundance for his heart.
I mean, what amazed me about that story was that, let's assume, when Lot was leaving Abraham and going to the plains of Sodom and Gomorrah, everything, he was wealthy. He had a lot. That's why there was a conflict between him and Abraham, the herdsmen. And when he went to Sodom and Gomorrah, I presume his worth increased in Sodom and Gomorrah. I presume he did better. But what we don't see is that after 20 years, maybe, when he was in Sodom and Gomorrah, he lost everything. Yeah, because when he left Sodom and Gomorrah, he left with nothing. So, where we are going to now, we may flourish for the first 5 or 10 years. But what we don't know is what will happen to us. Maybe in the 6th or the 10th year, we may lose everything. We may even be worse than when we entered that land. So, basing our decision on just the looks is very, very deceptive. And when I look at what Abraham was not moved, because to me, I would have been maybe felt bad that I don't bring the belief one can choose the best part. But Abraham was dependent on God a lot, that God led him well. So when it comes to marriage, let's refrain from just using the looks to conclude our judgment on people.
I had the opportunity to really relate with my husband for a long time before we got married, as friends, and then as a fiancé, and now as a husband to me. Yes, now I'm a wife to him, and him a husband to me. I had a kind of mindset about him because of the kind of appearance he had. When I just saw him, I was like, this guy will be very unromantic, because he just had, I don't know, his looks just exudated a certain kind of aura. Already, even he was the kind of guy that was like, no, he doesn't give handshakes to girls. I was like, as for being unromantic, please. But I'm amazed at how romantic he is, far more romantic than I am. So imagine I was basing myself on the looks, on what he was what I was seeing actually. And also, before we could get married, he was lean. I can put it that way.
Yeah.
He was actually very small in size. He was really small. But now you see, he looks a little fatter. You look, and when some people they say, so you could put on some flesh. So imagine that was no, because he was looking so lean. He was not my spec. He was too dry. So I even used to tell him, as a matter of fact, that I could not marry him because he was too dry. And then also, he was not the kind of guys that had 10 pairs of shoes. So what I was seeing was maybe his 1 or his 2 pairs of shoes. You have some girls who say that no, they cannot marry this brother because he has 1 shoe. This 1 shoe every day. This shoe don't tire. This shoe don't, they say teke.
I don't know.
Or this shoe don't take. The 1 shoe, the brother 1 shoe. So I could have based myself too on that part of his appearance. I had just 1 shoe, and then I'll be like, no, I cannot marry this kind of person. Yeah. But I want to thank God for renewing my mind and seeing that beyond the container, there is the content.
There's the content, which is the main thing.
Yes.
That you'll be with. Okay, one of the stories I would like us to see was a story when God sent Samuel, and don't forget that Samuel at this point of his life was you can say a close servant of God. And when I do religion, they classify him as a major prophet. So you could see Samuel like somebody that had matured in his walk with God. But when God asked him to go and anoint a king that was to replace Saul, and he sent him to the house of Jesse. Shockingly, when Samuel went there and saw Jesse's first son, he was moved and thought that should be there. That should be the king. And what God's response, that's one of the things that marked me. I'll just read. It says, when they came, that he looked at Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. Eliab, I can imagine how Eliab was. I'm sure he was built, handsome. because that was also his father's. I mean, because they asked his father to bring his sons. He brought all his sons except David.
Yeah.
That means when you look at David and his brothers were surely more physically appealing.
Yes.
That even his father could not see David as a candidate. So you could imagine how David was when he compared him with his brothers. Then verse 7, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or his physical stature. That means, if the Lord is saying, it means when you look at Eliab, the way he looked, you want to choose him. You should want to be with him. Because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
Wow.
So the Bible is telling us that man, we always look at the outward appearance. That's what we can see. And so for us to actually really base our conclusion, we have to be able to go beyond the physical appearance, because that's where we can limit ourselves. Depend on God to lead you to see beyond. And also one of the easier ways is to allow somebody that can help you see better to assist you. Yes. Or you should be close to the person and spend some time with the person to actually know who the person is, than just doing this thing that you just get up and see somebody. I mean, for the first time, you say when you met the person, you had some moves in your body, you felt a certain way. That's what movies usually project, and many of us are seeing it as a standard to use by using our physical appearance. And I think that this notion is increasing in our society, that people just look at people. I mean, I've seen a lot of actors, celebrities say that they look at the person was fine, the person was looking good. I mean, that day you saw that person could be the person's best. He must have made all gymnastics to look the way you saw the person, and the person may never be able to keep up with that appearance. Mm-hmm. When you next use the person, but now you could use that as a conclusive thing to base your judgment to be with the person, and then later on you are amazed that these people, when they saw, they cannot withstand the relationship because it's beyond the looks. It's beyond what you are seeing, far beyond the looks. And to me, I was really shocked, because when I was marrying my wife, she was not really, in terms of physical appearance, she had all the things I wanted, by the way, that I wanted from most of the things. Let me say most of the things I wanted from my wife, but her looks was not something that moved me, because I don't think the first day I saw her, I was like, man, wow. Who's girl is nah.
And vice versa, please.
Yes, vice versa. I mean, but when I spent time with her, I got to know her personally. We got to be together. She was a good friend, but really it was not what will move me to marry her. But now when I got married to her, I'm like, man. And the funniest of things is that the things I thought I would like, the small body, I realized that nah, that's not what I like again. I mean, you cannot really know what you like later on. I mean, my likes have changed, my desires have changed. So I really don't think that you should base your judgment on the looks of the person. You have to look beyond that.
Yeah. So I think it brings me to the question, like, okay, what if I am not really attracted to this person, like physically, like I don't seem to compromise it?
Yeah.
Is it better that despite the other nice things that this person can have, is it better that I go to somewhere else, or do you think that I can go ahead with the relationship and then this attraction will come later?
I think irrespective of that, the main thing will be to depend on God to direct you. Yes. You see, when you depend on God's leading may usually sometimes maybe beyond your emotions, beyond what you feel. And if God is leading you somewhere, I think the thing to do is to walk in obedience and be close to that person, be in a relationship with that person, and then see what God would open your eyes to see. Because emotions can change overnight because of what you have. Because I think our emotions usually are from the knowledge we have. Because if you're from a society where they believe that when the smaller the get is, the nicer the get is going to trigger certain emotions in you. And there are certain societies that for the girl to be beautiful, the girl has to have some weight. And that also affects the way the men perceive attraction. So all these things, there are certain societies or certain environment where they feel that when you're tall, you're not really okay. Some believe you should be average height is okay. Some believe that when you're a little bit shorter, maybe something happens. And with that kind of a knowledge, those kind of knowledge also trigger certain emotions. So I think that if you allow the Lord to lead you, the Lord will open your eyes to see certain things that will trigger emotions for you to be comfortable and for you to like that person. I mean, with a lot of your emotions. So I think that's the way you should look at it.
Okay. I think that should be the conclusion. We should not base ourselves on what we see.
Yeah.
We should not base ourselves on the container and forget the content. Let us rely on the Lord to help us make our choices. We should look beyond what we are seeing. So we've come,
and especially because of how the world is, we have a lot of things that people use to augment their looks.
Hey, how could we
especially
forget that?
especially with the ladies
The
now.
ladies.
I mean, there are a lot of things outside that can make you look totally different by you using them. And if you're basing your appearance on the physical appearance, I mean, you may have that person looking outwardly different, but when you're in the house with the person, you see what you were not designed to see. I mean, you have the other side that was not what attracted you, and you always be in such a relationship dissatisfied. You be in such a relationship feeling deceived.
Yeah.
Yes, and that will go a long way to increase your level of dissatisfaction in a relationship, and if possible, you may want to quit because that was what you base your satisfaction on.
Find someone with a flat tummy by day
And then
a pot belly by night.
belly by night. And then by day the person has been going through some
Or tangerine breast by day and then or pawpaw breast by day and then tangerine breast by night.
So
Because all the enhancement things
has gone
have been removed and you are shocked at what the person
the
looks like.
facelifting, the surgeries, the
God.
cap and everything. I mean, so, and also what my encouragement from people is that they try to be you. I mean,
Yeah, just be you.
just be you. Avoid all the. I'm not saying that you cannot use makeup, all those things. You should use them, but don't try to look too different from who you are, because you are going to give a certain image and pull certain type of people beside you that when you pull them later on, you can't keep them because that's not who you are. And before you know it, and also I think our looks are specific for a certain group of people to see us. I think our looks to God is like an indicator. So when you look a certain way, there are certain people that will see you in that state. When you look another way, there are certain people that will see you in that state. So I feel that trying to look different from who you are also could place you in a place where some people may not see you or the right people may not see you. So I always think that if you're a Christian, you believe in God, allow God to do the work for you, not you trying to play his part. Yes, look nice. Yes, always, do other things you can do, but trying to mutate your looks for certain things may only lead you towards dissatisfaction, because you will easily meet people that you cannot keep up with that. Just cannot keep up.
Oh, okay. So can we conclude?
I think we can conclude that.
Okay.
So please leave your comments on the comment section below.
Subscribe, share, comment. Is there anything you want us to talk about? Is there any question you have? Please make use of the comment section and subscribe. Hit the like button, share, forward to your contacts. Okay, may God bless you.
Ciao, ciao.
And we've come to the end. See ya.